story of Blood and Stone issues 1 and 2 go live on Indiegogo September 7th. Be sure to get your hands on these action-packed adventure comics and don't miss out.
Long ago, before the earth was formed and the heart of our sun was forged in the crucible of the cosmos, in a realm where might, magic, and high adventure reign supreme, let me tell you the tale of a lone rider who is being hunted down. Her cargo is the key to her freedom and to her damnation. She blazes a trail across a foreign land and hopes that she will lose her pursuers in the crystal labyrinth known as the Dragon Mouth Pass. The ripple effect of this moment cascades into a chain of events that will echo throughout the lives of all in the realm, especially a teenage boy named Nitto.
Oh yeah, we're back here again. We're going to do this one more time. Going to do another one, and the beat just kicks in. All right, let's give this a go.
Sup to everybody in the land of CG. If you don't know who I am, fuck, it's time to meet me. I'm the Ron Cardinal, I'm the creative native. I'm back in the comics just to see the story stayed up. Dissolution pros, acting live bros and hoes. Seen better behave strippers with the coke around the nose. They know what it is and they know what they chose. They know half of that battle, yo, G.I. Joe. But I'm here to fuck around as a special guest. Preaching, spitting ends with the holiest of breath. I'm underground now, but I'll need to express the undeniable fact that I'm one of the best. Bad mamma jammer with the odds that'll damage. I'm the half-breed savage with the skills that'll ravage you. I'll take advantage every fumble that you manage. Try to salvage yourself and end up way below average. But I'm not here to attack. I'm here to have fun with the chat and the crack pack as they back, fully packed comic book racks. I'm gonna get back to sporting fat stacks of art in my backpack and stay on track so I don't pull a Kirby and I don't get jacked. Missed out a millions by the terms of a contract. No one wants that and that's a goddamn fact. The comic book leeches but the comic king dry. The kind of evil shit that make the god of thunder cry. That's why I don't pay to be a fucking nice guy. Take your best shot and hit the motherfucking bullseye. That's why we pay attention to that man, Fat Man, Pie Man, EBS, Ethan, Van, Skyver, and the rest of the CG heavy hitter crew. Malin, Davis, your boy Zach, Boom. More big time ringers coming in soon. Just letting you know though, I'm here too, doing my thing anyway, anyhow. You're not gonna tell me I'm not allowed. We're making things that the mainstream disavow. Shit so hype that the blind see me out. Just to remember the crack pack bats and the holier than bow. And that's it. Quick, simple, fast. Get out there, do the things that you enjoy doing. I like making comics, and I got a comic book out right now, Caius, the story of Blood and Stone, issue 1 and 2 on Indiegogo. Get out there and back those projects. If you can't back mine, back another one. Bow, I'm out. Bam, and I believe that we're live. Let me know how this is going. Hey, Shadowhawk, how's it going? So yeah, this is an impromptu live draw stream. I have a tattoo that I thought I had to do tomorrow. It was booked for today, and yeah, it didn't work out because I didn't have it drawn up yet. I got my days mixed. I have my appointment tomorrow mixed up with today. I had my today appointment mixed up with tomorrow, so here we are. But the cool thing is now I have the full day to actually work on the design. The tattoo that I had in today, that I thought I had in today, was a piece I was finishing up. And it was going to be a Gohan, Team Gohan piece. And it was, I think, only maybe a couple hours of work on that. So I was going to do that and then draw this and then get ready for tomorrow. But unfortunately, like I said, I got mixed up. And just to let you know, I'm at the tattoo studio today, so there is a good chance that you're going to be hearing a lot of background noise, just because it literally is on one of the busiest streets. Like there's literally a fire truck rolling by right now. Thank God the sirens are not on. But yeah, if you want a little bit of insight as to some of my process as to how I do some of my design work for tattooing, this is one of them. So I'll give everybody kind of like a quick little breakdown as to how this rolls. So as you can see, we've got the table right here and the underlying part right here. This is a leg template that I got off of the client. So I wrap their leg up in press and seal or saran wrap. I prefer press and seal because it sticks to the skin. And then once I have the template, I have the general idea of how much space I actually have to work with. And now I go in over again with press and seal. And now I draw over top of it and just using Sharpie markers. And once I get the general base design of the flow that I'm going for, then I will snapshot a pic of this and then transfer it over to Clip Studio Paint and then do the finished line drawing in there. This is just so I have like the approximate shape and size of everything. And also once we go to actually tattoo them, once we put the stencil on, there is going to be some adjustments that need to be made because what works on here, what works on a drawing, and what goes onto the skin are all slightly different variables, and you got to adjust for that. But I hope everybody's having a good day today. Let's see. Yeah, I tried to share this out, but for some reason, Twitter is blocked, which is super strange. So yeah, for whatever reason, I can't share this out via through YouTube to Twitter. So
yeah, I'm just going to be drawing up here. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to be looking at the chat frequently. So anybody who pops in, cool. If not, I'm just going to be doing my thing. I am going to put on some background music. Probably get copyright struck for it, but it's fine. I'm cool with it. Stuff I'm going to be listening to is drum and bass. It's my usual go-to for anything at the moment. Let's do this. Now, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to hear it out there, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'll start, like for stuff like this, I'll draw in yellow and then just gradually go up to darker and darker tones. Procedure is almost the exact same as any other drawing. And for a lot of this stuff, I end up using a crap ton of straight up reference because obviously, like I can sit there and draw my version of Shenron and all that stuff, but I would way rather go from existing stuff because it's canon already. It's already there, you know. And here's kind of like, I don't know if you can see this. Let me hop on here. So this is the rough sketch that I did, and I have a photograph of the lake. And then from this, we drawing onto there. I'll just have this as my guide. And some stuff too, like it doesn't work out, like it's way too high up on the butt there. So I got to drop that down. And I also have that factored in right here because I don't want to be going on the butt cheeks because it just looks weird. It's funny because like this is all normal talk to me, like talking about going people's ass cheeks or like that's too close to the crotch and stuff like that. But that's the name of the tattoo game. So and like this spot right here, this should be right on the side of the thigh. So a nice open big area. I want to bring it down as close to the knee as possible. That way, if the client is wearing shorts and stuff like that, we have the Shenron's face right there. Because when you're doing a piece like this, there's like money spots. One of the money spots on the side of the calf is right here. And that's where we're going to be putting the 7-star Dragon Ball. And the other money spot is like upper thigh. So that way when you go to present it, boom, it's right there. And there's a couple other little tricks too. I don't want to stay below this line here. Can you see it on there? It's tough to see, but there's a line right here, and that's literally like the butt cheek. So I want to be below that. Yeah, I've been super duper slammed with stuff, tattoo-wise anyway. And I'm squeezing in as much as I can for Caius right now. I got almost all my thumbnails for the first issue done. For me, that's the biggest hurdle because I do a lot of my writing in the thumbnails. My process is very much Marvel method. I have like a giant overarching story arc, and then I break that down into smaller story arcs, and then those down into smaller story arcs, and it's within those that I'm like, all right, this part of the book I want to get from point A to point B, and then I'll storyboard everything out in the thumbnails, and then that's where I let the story be dictated as to what actually happens. So that's why it takes me a little bit longer doing the thumbnails than most people, because I am simultaneously writing it on the fly. And the reason that I do that is I find there is room for exploration in the book. like fun things happen that wouldn't have happened if I structured them, rigidly with like a full script, and for me, that's part of the fun of writing. Because writing was never a big thing for me in school. Like I was never much into creative writing, but making comic books and all that stuff, like that's like it's such a blast. Hey Miriam, what's going on? Yeah, if you haven't uploaded the latest Clip Studio Paint update, it's super easy. You just go to the Clip Studio site, you download it, and you just press just like you're uploading the program for the first time, and it'll just overwrite the previous program, and you'll still have all your stuff saved. All your tool files will be exactly where they were. Any special tools you have, it doesn't fuck any of that stuff up, which is really nice. Because I remember every now and then with like other programs, if you update it, you got to re-upload everything. And thankfully they thought of that. So yeah, the new Clip Studio Paint update is fucking bonkers. Like you now have 3D primitives that you could put in there, and with those 3D primitives, you can stretch and pull them, and you could also texture map them. I'm like, oh man, that has just opened up a whole new world, because like now I can texture map one of these 3D primitives. Because like in my head, I'm thinking like, what are a bunch of background things that I have that are happening all the time in Caius? And that's like, forests and towers and like all these like rock features. And like, man, I can just texture map that onto the 3D primitive, and now I can place that in the 3D space. Fuck, I don't have to draw that. I draw it once or I draw it a couple times. I can make a couple resources. Boom, backgrounds are going to be like hammered out. So a little bit on the front end to do it, but I'm a sucker for that stuff though. Like I really like making resources for stuff. Yeah, no problem, Miriam. It's super fucking simple. Because like same thing for me. When they did a new update for the longest time, I wouldn't update because I'm like, oh, this is gonna fuck up all my shit. But they've been really good with stuff. Even if there is like some kind of error or fuck up, they will report it instantly. Like I kind of stay on top of the news of what they're doing. So if there's a new update coming up, I'll check out the update features, the spec list, and if there's a problem or a bug after the update, I'll go and scope that out as well, just to see if there are any issues. Because every now and then there will be like something. But more times than not, it seems that any problems or issues are from updating and it being on the iPad. At least that's how it appears to be. So right here, so I got the head in this section right here, got the body going this way. Now I want it to wrap onto the inside of the leg. So that means I got to draw it out this way, and then this side over here technically will connect to this side. So it's got to be like transposed. So this side will go that way, that side will go this way. Am I out of press and seal? I think I am. Damn it. Let's see, what do I got? I got some super thin rag paper I could use. I could use that. But let me just keep scribbling shit out here. Yeah, I am unfortunately a very sketchy drawer when it comes to this kind of stuff. Some people have the ability to just put it down and carve it out. Yeah, that's not me. I wish I could do that stuff. I'm always envious of people that can just like, oh fuck, I'll throw this down. It's my style, and I'm like, damn it. Might have to do with the fact that like I have to be a bit of a chameleon when it comes to tattoo stuff. Certain styles I got to be able to mimic. And for me, there's a lot of sketching in that, and ultimately my quote unquote personal style will come through in the end. But that goes that way. It should. this cut back that way, and this is the connecting point, and that's going to cut right through the back of the knee. Blech. Oh, that's gross. Yeah. I would rather avoid the front of the knee and do the back of the knee. And depending on how I do it, because I'm also trying to like keep in mind too, like how much discomfort I'm going to put the client through, because I don't want to put anything like this is the back of the knee right here, and that is a super duper sensitive spot to get tattooed. So I want to avoid putting anything highly detailed there. So I might put the belly scales there, so it's just a couple lines going through, and it won't be as much heavy shading, because this is going to be a black and gray tattoo. Got red. Oh, I felt so bad this morning when I realized I screwed up with my booking appointments. I've been slammed with tattooing for the past bit here, and only getting like a couple hours of sleep at night. When you guys see me on the chat, I'm usually like head down drawing. So I haven't been crazy interactive with the chat lately. Middle of the leg. Oh, do I want Shenron to be in the front? Might be able to eat up a little bit more. Might want to put him in the front a little bit more. Here's the knee. Let's do that. That should give us a little bit more room for his horns up here. I got my Team Gohan tattoo that I'll be doing tomorrow. Finish that one up. That should be fun. That was another appointment that I had to rebook. I ended up getting super duper sick. Don't know if it was COVID or not, but the end of September, beginning of October, I was doing a guest spot, and during that guest spot, right near the end in the last couple days, I was like, I don't know if I'm coming down with something. Let me see how I'm feeling by the time I get to the studio. And by the time I got to the studio, I was like, oh, there's something happening. So like I'm masked up, and let everybody know. I had to call, my last 3 days of appointments who were like booked solid. And I was like, yo, I gotta peace out. I gotta get back home because I was out in another city. I was like, if I'm getting sick with anything, I gotta get the hell out of here now. Because if I get sick here, I'm going to be stuck at my buddy's place for 2 weeks, and then he's going to be out of work. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm out. Got home. As soon as I got home, literally the next day, I was in bed for 3 days straight. Didn't lose taste. Didn't lose smell. Those were still fine the whole time, but didn't get a fever. And I've definitely been sicker with the flu. But the one thing that was super weird with it that I never experienced was it felt like every single joint was on like fire. Like somebody lit a torch in every single joint, like knees, toes, vertebrae, shoulders, like everything that had a joint felt like it was absolutely burning. And yeah, that was super strange. It was like, body got onset arthritis out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, that's whack. Never had that happen. And then, yeah, super laid out for those 3 days. Literally, I just slept, got up, ate, drank. Apples were my saving grace because I was still able to eat something, and still. able to put something in my stomach and keep going that way. But during that process, I ended up losing like almost 15 pounds over the whole stint. And then, yeah, literally after that third day, it was just like every day got a little bit better. And then like by day 10, I was like back to normal. Didn't lose breath either. That was one thing I made sure that, like, I was able to still take full deep breaths. I did have a really nasty dry cough. No phlegm, no nothing. It was just dry. And once I started coughing, it wouldn't stop. But funny enough, I was still able to take full deep breaths without coughing, which I found really fucking strange. Put it right above the knee. That will sweep back. Let's do that. Hopefully that's showing up a little bit better. Oh, okay, we can start to see that now. I got a hold of my client. Apologize profusely for my screw up and my mishandling of my time. Don't do it often when I usually like to keep tabs and like on top of all my appointments, but that was just a straight screw up on my part. I don't need this to be perfect. This is just to get the vibe and flow of stuff. And make sure that everything is sitting well where it's supposed to sit. And then once I transfer this over to Clip Studio Paint, I'll be able to draw in what I need to draw in. Belly scales, under scale. I want to make sure. Now, this is one big pet peeve of mine when people draw dragons, is when they put the head inside the body. So I don't know if you can see this here. Let's see. Is that gonna? It's just blurry. But anyways, here I can just draw this in quickly here. So. There we go. So yeah, this is the head, and it's on the body. But what I usually do is I'll leave like a cut line around this where no outline is touching it. That way, it pops to the foreground. I find that a lot of tattoos where people do dragons, they put the head resting inside the body, which will give it a really poor silhouette. Because if you squint at something, and if you can tell what it is from a distance, or if you can just see by the black shadow of it, if it reads, it reads. That's the goal, at least for me. And I find that some people, when they do traditional style dragons, and by that I mean like Asian style dragons, Japanese dragons, Chinese dragons, they have, because they're so snaky and coily, they kind of have them lumped in. And when you lump them in like that, and you squint and you look at it from a distance, it's just this weird shape, and it doesn't read well. But that's just me. And I find as long as I put cut lines in between everything, that forces that head shape to pop out. And for me, that's super important. And there's a couple other tricks that I'll employ when it comes into shading and rendering. One of the things, depending on the overall shape of the headpiece, sometimes I will pull like super dark shadows from the line out, or I'll do the exact opposite. I'll shadow and then kind of like feather edge it, so as it's coming closer, it'll help reinforce that cut line. Don't know if I'm speaking complete gibberish here. If you're an artist, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Ooh, spicy. Bam. See if I can get a better angle, maybe a little. No, that's pretty good. All right. So yeah, this is when I'm like ultimately the goal for me over the next bit. I got more of a slow burn approach to what I want to be doing. I know I'm a good tattoo artist, but the thing is, there is a shelf life on tattooing. I think I got maybe till I'm about 50, maybe 52. If I push it, maybe 54, of still being able to produce like nice, high quality, like pristine, fucking A-grade tattoo work before the ravages of Father Time start fucking knocking on the door, so to speak. And I've seen it happen to a lot of tattoo artists too, where they stick in the game for a real long time when they should have either transitioned to another career or shifted gears into only being the manager of their shop. Reason being is it's quite frankly a young dude's game. There are guys out there, like if you're a portrait artist and that's the thing you're hyped on, you can do portrait tattoos as long as you keep that skill set sharp till your dying days. Hell yeah. There's a guy out there, Bob Tyrell, and he got into tattooing, I think when he was in his early 40s, and he's like world renowned for his portraits, and they are like fucking good fucking portraits. Like, that dude is on point. So he's like the exception to the rule. Again, this is just what I think. For me personally, and my goal with it is over the next 10 years, I want to transition from doing as many fucking kick-ass tattoos while I'm still at my fucking peak of my game, and slowly transferring over into doing, the personal projects full time. So I'm not in an absolute hurry to be jumping over into comics, but I do over the next period want to be building toward that. So that's kind of like my goal for everything. That slow burn, slow build, as opposed to the fucking coming in hot, guns blazing, blaze as many guns and trails as I can. But I also have another mistress, and that other mistress right now is tattooing. But the key with that mistress is I got to keep her fucking back a little bit, because if you let her fucking run wild on you, she will consume everything that you're doing. And I speak from experience on that. One of the things I'm doing right now with my scheduling too is I'm really only trying to book one tattoo a day. Make it a nice big tattoo like this. This would be an all-day piece, as long as the client can sit. And I'm only booking for weekends, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if anybody needs to rebook, if they need to rebook to another weekend, unfortunately, they go to the back of the list. But if they're able to book for another day, I still have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday open, which are set aside for my draw days. So sacrifice one of my draw days to get the client in. But I got to be on guard with that, because if I don't pay attention to that, boom, all my fucking weekdays are booked, and I'm booked solid, like through and through. And I can't do that anymore, because my body the rigors of tattooing for years and years, it catches up with you. And even just this past week with being as busy as I've been, my back's starting to lock up, my hips are starting to lock up, neck is fine right now, but so stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, I see what's going on here. We gotta take a couple days off after Monday. All right, so that will be coming over here. That'll be going around the back of the knee. Right. And how did I have that? Let's see. So I've got that. This is the front of the leg. That's the shin. That's the inside of that side. So that line. So I need an S curve, not a full S, but an S into a C. And that, ooh, that's gonna be great. Okay, that's cutting right there. Okay, so that should be coming in there. Yo, what up, Mo? What's going on? Yeah, I have been completely swamped with tattooing, and because of a clerical error on my part today, I screwed up. So it gave me an opportunity to catch up on drawing, which is this leg tattoo, and yeah, do a little bit of live streaming. I hope you're doing good there, Mo. That. Yeah, I know you're not terribly down with the weeb stuff, but I'm pretty stoked on this piece, man. Super hyped on it. Big ass Shenron leg tattoo. Hell yeah. It actually almost works out better that I screwed up my appointments, because now I get to spend literally all day focusing just on this, which is hype. Cover that up. It's gonna sweep. Yeah, when we go to stencil this as well, there's going to be a lot of like overplay of like stuff will overlap and underlap once we go put the stencil on. So doing fantastic. Oh, good to hear. I'm glad you're having a good time. Yeah, that's my whole goal with getting back into tattooing. I do these daily full day session deals. I don't know if you know anything about tattooing, but tattooing is very expensive. Like my regular hourly rate is $200 an hour Canadian, and my day rate is $800 a day. So if anybody's looking to come in for a quote unquote small piece, it's an hourly rate. If they're looking to book the day, it's $800 for the full day. But I will put out these full day session deals, and I drop my rate to $600. But the catch is it's all prepay. It's booked up for the next 2 months after that. So essentially you're just prepaying for a full book day, and yeah, we just tattoo the living hell out of you. And that's kind of the direction that I'm going with for tattooing, because it's super expensive for people, and in this period, this time, this climate, my spidey senses are tingling on things that the industry is shifting very, very rapidly. So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve with having it so I can be still doing awesome work. Because that's if I'm not doing fucking cool pieces, I don't even want to be tattooing. So. So putting the deal out there, I've been getting a lot of people wanting like big, large, kick-ass pieces. And I'm like, hey, this seems to be working out really, really well. Let's see. Get some of this coil back. Actually, let me pull that down a little bit deeper. And have that sweep back that way. Yeah. So I'll have some fun with that. Ooh, maybe that's what I can do with that right there. Yeah, having fun with the tattoos, that's a super important thing for me right now. Like back in the day, I used to work in a biker shop, so you kind of had no say to whatever you're doing. You know, when you have your boss who's like a 6'6" Viking biker, whatever walks through that door, you're doing it because like screw your artistic this and that is like that dude has stuff to do and money to make, and guess what? You're making him money. So getting into a very specific thing that you do is not very possible at that point in time. And bear in mind, this was in the 90s too. So tattooing was much different then. There's no social media. You had to be good enough where your word of mouth alone was getting you work. Because back then, if you advertised, you were seen as a joke. It's like completely different now. Like the game has changed so much to the point now where like I will advertise on Instagram, and lo and behold, for those of you that don't know, Instagram ads will work for certain things, and tattooing is definitely one of them. Let's see, how's that? Yeah, so this all just looks like gibberish right now, but it makes sense to me. Right? Ooh, maybe that's what I can do. Oh, I can do a coil up there. Yeah. Make this drop. Ooh. Yeah, because like his knee is right here, and I want to try and avoid that as much as possible. It's still going to suck the tattoo around it. There's no way of avoiding that. The knee just fucking blows. But maybe if I could do a coil up. Pull that in like that. Go all around that knee. And with this, dude, these are all like hopes and dreams that it goes on perfectly the way that, I'm designing, which never ever happens. Something always throws a curveball at you. So knee out with that. I got that. So that coil up would be happening right here. That's right here. Okay. And that's this far, that far, that far. Oh, look at that. Ooh. So I might be able to do the coil up and cut back this way. Well, hell. All right. And put that on first. That'll underlay. Okay. It's like a jigsaw puzzle sometimes. Bostek. Hey, Juliana Chase, how's it going? Yep, just drawing up tattoos. slowly getting it worked out. Let's see how that's looking. Okay. Hug the knee. And now I should cut back that way. That'll be this. So let me grab. And then I can use all my contour. Contour circles here. And then this will help keep the shape. It's like drawing with coils. So you just keep doing circles, and it'll just find itself, which is super handy. It's one of the ways that I'll draw characters. Like if I want to do like foreshortened arms, I'll just coil it. Just keep going back like that, and then also. That makes any kind of sense. Probably not, but whatever. That's a bot rhyme. Oh, I couldn't tell. Wait. Well, thank you, Mo, for getting the bot. Thought it was somebody using some new clever internet slang I didn't know about. Vostok. Vosisis.
Oh, yeah, Sebastek, yeah, don't you know?
So got that. Should. Ooh. Should line up theoretically and go underneath there. All these kids and their crazy languages and their Instagrams. Yeah, it's weird. Instagram works really, really well for tattooing. I haven't been able to crack the code with it for comic books yet, but I know that there are a couple people out there who have. There's a bunch of creators out there. They have a project called Project Diver. Very, very manga, very anime looking. But yeah, they've been kind of like blowing up the scene. Whatever that they're doing on Instagram is definitely pulled a lot of eyes onto their project because they're getting like tons of interaction with it. And going through their comments, it's like very specific action in the comments. So it's not like they're just buying comments or buying likes or anything like that. Because that happens a lot too. Now, one of the good things with doing Shenron, luckily, he does not, like, he has scales on them, but it's not like traditional Japanese dragon scales where you've got to draw every single scale. His are more implied scales. So if I got to do a break and redraw stuff, like for the stencil, that actually works out really, really well. Because nothing's more nerve-wracking than like you have this entire chunk of the dragon that you have to essentially redraw because it didn't line up. I did a dragon last night and another dragon the night before, and let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see. Let's see. The new bots always have real sounding names like Vastech or some kind of tech. Oh, okay. It makes sense that would work for tattooing. Since it's mainly people showing off pictures of themselves. Yeah, exactly. That one book, Icarus in the Sun, raised a bunch with Instagram followers, but I haven't seen anything else. So yeah, that dude had like what is it, like 2 million people following him or something ridiculous. But that's to even get the return on that just from Instagram, you're way better off doing what we're doing here. Yeah, exactly. A couple of years ago. Yeah, there are people like Odie did really good, but I don't know how, like I was watching Odie and he was gaining literally 10,000 new subscribers every week. And I was like, how do you blow up that huge, that fast? And then I look back on his stuff and it capped off. I think he's at like maybe like 60 or 80 right now. So it went from like this skyrocket explosion to just capping right off. But the thing is, like his interaction on all that stuff, again, is also very specific, and he's getting a lot of fanfare from it. So it's working out for him too. So he's able to point everybody at Webtoons, and I forgot what his project was. Tomahawk, Angel Tomahawk. Yeah, that was it. But I was like, holy crap, like the dude's blowing up on Insta. Let's see if I can pull up camera. Thankfully, I don't have stuff I can't show, so. That's a lot of that. So let's see if that comes up. Oh, I got the stupid ring light in the way. So yeah, that's like part of the dragon. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was a piece I started the other day, and that was like a full torso tattoo, and I felt so bad for the dude because that like bottom of the throat all the way to like the belly and then side ribs. We almost got it all done, but there was one section like on the side of the ribs that we like my back started seizing up, and I was like, I think I'm almost done. He's like, oh, thank God, I'm dying here. I was like, you done for the day? He's like, yeah, I can't take any more. And like he's literally like fucking shaking and convulsing at this point. And it's like the body going into the like first phases of shock. So I'm like, all right, yeah, we're done for the day. That's enough. I can't take any more. You're at your limit. There's no point in pushing this on anymore because it's just going to get worse for both of us from here. So, and luckily it's a chunk that I can easily just add in because I already got the stencil for it. So it's just going in and just placing the stencil right where it is. But that was like, I think like 5.5, 6 hours of tattooing. And it's like big, thick, bold ass lines too. So, but he sat like a champ. Of course he was on, nerve blockers and everything. I was like, yeah, man, do whatever you got to do to sit still. That's all I want. Like if you got to take whatever you can take to make my job easier, go right ahead. Let's go like this. So we're kind of getting down to the end of the tail. Yeah, I remember it had Tomahawk in the title. Yeah, I believe it was Angel Tomahawk or Tomahawk Angel, one of the two. Yeah, I think I got like a circle tangent going on here. So cut this back. Oh, there we go. I think that's all that's missing. Need some Kleenex to erase some stuff. Is everybody ready for Christmas? I am not. I am so not ready for Christmas. Yeah, I've been way too busy with tattooing to even think about it. Ready, adjacent? Yeah, I'll see how everything pans out here. Maybe I'll wipe this off here. This is one of the good things about working on saran wrap and plastic is like I like smudging and smearing stuff, so erasing this off of here is easy enough, which is good. That's the shim. That'll cut it back there a little bit. Maybe I should just sweep this right underneath. Yeah, look how well. That way I keep the silhouette going. And then I can cut back with the tail this way. Yeah, let's just do that. We'll have this. This is the tail. Because I want to avoid, like I got his Achilles tendon right here. And I got his ankle bone. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, ankle bone is right here. And Achilles tendon is right here. So those are kind of two things I want to avoid tattooing over because like, right, as we all know, the Achilles tendon, it has like those two little dips next to it. And those spots are a fucking pain in the ass to tattoo and they don't heal up well. So if I can avoid those, the tattoo will heal up much better, and I don't have to deal with doing touch-ups on that spot because very rarely does it like to heal up nice, crisp, and clean in those spots. Got to run some errands. Yo, Mo, thanks for popping in, man. Super good seeing you. I'll probably see you on some of the chats later on tonight. Yeah, I'm just going to be drawing on this all day. If I get time, hopefully, finish this up and then work on the final couple thumbnails for Caius because I think I only got like 4 or 5 pages left before all my thumbnails are done. But then what I'm also doing is I'm drawing issue 2 and 3 back to back with all the thumbnails, so I want to roll right into that. But yeah, thanks for popping in, Mo. Get those errands done. Merry ho-ho, and I'll catch you in the rebound in the chat. That. Bang, 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 bang. Now I want this dipping back in. You might want to tighten this up a little bit more. Because because I got it sweeping too far to the outside of the back of the leg. Yo, checkpoint. Just grind up his Achilles tendon. You'll be fine. Fuck. Yeah, there's a lot of spots on the body. Like I've been tattooing for over 20 years, and like sometimes when I put the stencil on, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for you because we're gonna have to do this. It's where it sits, it's where it lies, and there's no way around it. And they're like, what was that face for? I'm like, yeah, this is gonna suck, dude. Sorry. But yeah, try and do the best I can to. Well, the other thing with it too is like if I'm hitting like really super sensitive spots like that, the chance of them like jolting, moving, twitching, it increases exponentially. And if that happens, you know, the room for error and possible screw ups also goes up dramatically. So if I can avoid those kind of things altogether. And also to the touch-up factor, that's a big thing for me. If I can avoid spots where touch-ups are always a concern, like on wrists, like this spot right here, usually you want to keep like 2 fingers away from that because that's where it gets all, you know, bendy. You can tattoo right up into that, but almost always it'll need to touch up because like very rarely is anybody going to be able to be like straight arm for the healing duration. But with other things too, there's the second skin option, which has been a real game changer for the healing of tattoos. Essentially, it's just a giant sticker that you put over top the body, and it's breathable. You can shower with it. Yeah, and that's... I've had lots of people heal up way better with that. And not requiring nearly as many like touch-ups or redos or anything like that. And another big thing too is if the person already has a bunch of tattoos, they know how their body heals, they know how to look after it, they know how to keep an eye open for things. So, which also helps out a lot. So whenever I'm tattooing people that are fresh to tattooing and they don't know what's going on, that I have to like really dial in, you know, the aftercare and kind of drill it into them. Ever had to do a nipple? Let's see. I think I did some like shading and line work over part of the areola on somebody, but I never like blasted right through the nipple on somebody. I'll usually try to avoid it because like just cause. Like the guy that I did the dragon on the other day, you know, the dragon's like swirling all over the torso and stuff like that. And there were a couple spots that went directly over top of his nipple, but I'm like, no, that's where we're going to do like cut lines through with negative space and cloud and smoke. And he's like, oh, fuck, thank God. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. But no, I haven't ventured into the world of doing full-on blasting over of the nipple. Yeah, that just that wigs me out. Gives me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. Maybe I can dip this down further. So my only real main issue right now is this connecting part, so I just got to figure that out. I'm ready. Blast this nipple for the art. I've seen it, man. Oh, it's gnarly. I've seen fellow tattoo artists going right over top of it. I'm just like, yeah, I can't watch. Yeah, especially with a lot of like, I don't know if you're into tattoos at all, but there's like a pretty big movement in the tattoo scene called blackout tattoos, where they're literally just blacking out, full arms, full legs, full chest. Sometimes it's for like cover up purposes, like they got so many shit tattoos, they're like, fuck it, just blast over the whole thing with black. Which I get it. Sometimes it might be fundamentally more inexpensive to just do a blackout tattoo than getting removal or like try and figure out how to cover up that monstrosity. But they're doing cool things with it now too. So they'll do like a full blackout tattoo. Ooh, do I want? No, I don't want that. And then once it's all fully healed, all settled in, they'll come back in and tattoo over top the black with white ink. And it doesn't end up looking like vivid white. It will tone out to like a gray, but it is definable. Like you can see what it is, and it's a pretty cool effect. But it's a lot of work. So whoever gets it, like they're obviously very dedicated to the thing. Get the tail overlapping here just a little bit, just to bring that forward. Let's do that, move that up, sweep that in. That's the other. It's all about S curves and C curves to get it to look nice. I'll have to go buy some more Sharpies after this. And anybody who's watching this, and possibly a rerun, Caius' Story of Blood and Stone, issue 1 and 2, available now on Indiegogo. Looking to fulfill that in March. I'm possibly going to be testing out a new printer. The printer that I went with before, who are kick-ass, by the way. What's their name? Comic Impressions. Great bunch of guys out of Florida. Great printers. They do all the printing for Scout Comics. And one of the cool things with them is they're really, really on the ball with communication. So if anything's going on with the printing, they'll let you know, because they kind of stopped the presses when they were doing my print for Caius issue 1, and got a hold of me, gave me a phone call, and they're like, yo, there's a bit of a moire issue, because I got a little bit of half-tone patterns in issue 1, and they're like, yo, there's a moire pattern happening here. We want to know if that's us, or if it's on your end, or if there's something that we both missed. So I went back, checked my files, and I was like, no, that's on my end. It's meant to be like that. And they're like, all right, cool. We just wanted to double check to make sure that it was, it wasn't us or something that we completely missed. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks, man. So yeah, great bunch of guys over there at Comic Impressions. Rich Boy is the owner-operator of that. And I caught wind of them through this podcast. Now, this is to anybody out there who's wanting some resources that are outside of CG. Again, resources are resources. Use them how you wish. And any information is always good information. But there's a podcast called Comics Launch. So COMIX Launch. And they're a podcast dedicated to Kickstarters and how to get your quote-unquote Kickstarter crowdfunding up and running, going, tricks, tips, all that kind of stuff. So if anybody's out there looking for, just some more information that's outside of the CG bubble, it is out there. And there are, other resources. It's just a matter of finding it. And through listening to their podcast, that's how I found out about Comic Impressions, and got a hold of them. And if anybody's out looking for them, go to their website, email them, ask them for a sample, and they will send you out a sample of what they do for traditional print with using offset printing as well as digital printing. They ended up sending me a bunch of their paper stock, paper samples, print samples, and a couple of the comic books, including a free graphic novel, one of the Scout books, just to show the quality of work that they do. And it passed the rub test. I don't know if you remember watching your boy Zach when he would be reading the comic book and like the ink is literally coming off the page. So I did the rub test on a bunch of the paper, and I was just like, man, I actually got to like scrub it possibly with something that's almost an abrasive to get this off. So I passed the ink test, that's for sure. And for my book too, the other thing is they do have other print options that are available that are not on the website. That is cool. Yeah, they're pretty dope. So for Caius, I wanted it to be more like a traditional manga tankobon book, like they kind of have that newsprint paper. And I asked him if they have newsprint, and he's like, no, unfortunately, we can't print on newsprint because that only comes in, I can't remember what it's called. It's called web press, and you can only buy those by the drum. And it's like literally tons of paper that you have to order because it's supposed to be put through the news press. And he's like, we can't actually order that because those go to newspapers and specialty printers. I was like, shit, I wanted the paper to have that feel to it. That to me, that was important. Just that classic manga texture of opening up that book. He's like, well, the closest that we got is a 50-pound uncoated but we don't advertise that, but we do have it. I was like, oh. He said that's the closest that we have, and so they sent the book out, and it fit the bill. So if you're looking to have certain print options available that aren't listed there, just give them a call and ask them what they have, and Rich will be more than happy to talk to you about potentially setting stuff up. But the new printer that I'm going to be going with, I've got to get a couple sample prints for them. So what I'm going to do is send them the file for Caius issue 1 and get them to print up maybe I don't know, 50 copies or something like that as a test print because I want to see. And because I'm doing low order print runs for Caius issue 2, it'll be a good sample because it'll most likely be a digital print. It's black and white anyway, but it's such a low order print run that it's going to be put through digitally. So I want to see how their digital press is. And if it works out, they're in Edmonton, so then I don't have to deal with any potential cross-border issues, anything like that might pop up. Which would be great. But I don't know how much experience that they have with printing comic books, so I'm going to have to get on the horn with them to really dial them in. Because one of the unfortunate things when dealing with a new printer that doesn't deal with this stuff, they don't understand how particular we are when it comes to comic books and stuff, as far as the fan base and as well as the creators of it. So it might be something that is completely out of their wheelhouse as far as like dealing with. So but crossing my fingers and hopefully everything works out. Just got to get some research. I'm just going to quickly look up Shenron here. Shenron, all night long, Shenron. All night long, Shenron.
Oh, yes, a Google search. Yeah.
Shenanigans. Let's see, what is our angle at here? That. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Just gotta flip it. Yeah, I'm keeping the client updated today because like I said, I screwed up my appointments, so I figured it's only fair to keep them directly updated as to all the drawings going on. Save that. Save image. Copy image. Control V. Right up. Figure that. That should work. And then print that out. Get some reference. That curve is sweet. Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is just getting the general shape going on. My buddy told me he was getting a dragon down his leg. I thought it would be something like Shenron. He pulls his leg, all excited to show me, and it looks like a purple Puff the Magic Dragon. Fantasy dragons are a tricky one too because sorry, run out of cool. I have to give my toner a shake. Yeah, fantasy dragons are a tricky one to tattoo because usually everyone wants, this big giant dragon with its wings spread out. And it's like, it kind of almost doesn't work as a tattoo. You're almost better off getting I think that's one of the reasons why Asian style dragons are way more suited for tattooing is because you can do all the swirl, the twists and the curves and stuff like that. And it works out a lot better. But to get that sense of scale of a fantasy dragon, if you just put a dragon on there, it just looks like a small lizard more times than not. So the key thing is putting in something that it can refer to against. So if you have this if you want the dragon to look big, you got to toss in something that looks small. So I got this piece coming in that I got to finish up drawing, and it's literally a fantasy style dragon. But he was like, no, I don't want the wings out. I want so the wings are tucked back, but I want them to look big. And I was like, all right, so I'll do a small village or something down at the bottom of the mountain. That way there's a sense of scale as to how big this fucker is. And he's like, oh, cool. I never even thought of that. But yeah, more times than not, it has a tendency to look like a, just like, you got a lizard tattoo. Let's see. Flip this. Or Crying Freeman. Yeah. Actually, that'd be super hyped to do a Crying Freeman tattoo. That'd be dope. But I have been getting lucky doing a lot of cool anime tattoos or just bigger, awesome tattoos. Oh yeah, I gotta give the old thing a shake. Definitely. Running low on toner. You would have to tattoo around his junk. Wouldn't be the first time. I've never tattooed anybody's junk, but I've definitely tattooed all up and around the neighborhood. But thus is the nature of the game. Yeah, I remember tattooing a buddy of mine when we were doing this. He's got a bunch of really unique pieces. So it was this fire hydrant being worshipped by a bunch of matches and lighters and flammable liquids and gas tanks and then the backgrounds with the city on fire, just out there, new school 90s style, almost subverted or surrealism. And I'm tattooing him, and it's on his upper thigh. So if this is his thigh, it's right up here, and there's this cartoony Mickey Mouse style hand, he's lording over these things. And so I'm tattooing away, and then my head's down. I'm tattooing away, and then I look up and I'm like, "Yo, homie!" He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Your nuts are hanging out. Put those away." It's like, "Oh shit, sorry, dude." Because he fell asleep and he's out cold and I didn't notice, he didn't notice, and I look up nuts are just hanging out. But again, perils of the job. What? For the art? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a unique job, man. Like there's no other gig like it. It's unique. It's weird. It's strange. But even with all of its wackiness, it's like maybe I'm just so used to the weird shit in tattooing that when I come to the comic book world and see like what's going on there, I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Like I thought it would just be more straightforward, simple, and then find out just all the like even we all know what it's been like, and I'm just like, what the hell? So that was a little bit mind blowing to me to see how wacky the comic book industry is. I was like, man, I thought the tattoo industry was wild, and it is. It's just different. I might be able to get away with stenciling this in 2 sections. But I gotta get this part dialed in. So I got this right. I keep forgetting that this is the knee right here. I'm like, oh, I got this weird negative space. Like, yeah, it's there for a reason, dumbass. We attract mental disorders. Oh my God, you have no idea. At least with tattooing, like the people that we get in that are screwed up, we can tell they're screwed up. It's like, yeah, that's a meth head, that's a crackhead, that's a prostitute, you know, that guy's a drug dealer. Like, you can literally see it. So, but it's also interesting too, because like I literally would have, you know, this is back in the day when I tattooed clients back to back, but have one client, you know, obviously, you know, some drug dealer, and then my next appointment is like a lawyer or something like that, and like they cross paths and it's almost like they know each other, you know. Take a quick video here of me explaining what this is and send it off to my client. There's a lawyer that screwed me. Or maybe it's like, oh, there's the lawyer that like helped me out. Ooh, maybe do some of this action. Yeah. And that will cut. Yeah, it's tricky because I want this to lead on to the inside. That might have to be a stencil issue, but. Yeah, tattooing, it's definitely changing. COVID is shifted gears in the trade completely. Now, what was happening before in the trade is everyone is starting to get into these like mega shops. So, you know, you have your shop open and you got like, you know, 30 artists working for you and they're all booked fucking, you know, end to end, which is great for the owner. Like the owner's making fucking money hand over fist. Clients, you know, they're getting in, they got an awesome array of people to select from. But if you look at it, like, especially in the environment of what's going down, if you have a shop that's full of 30 people, you times that by a minimum of 2, you now have 60 people, you know, possibly in the shop at once. Like, that's too many fucking people for what's going on right now. like the shop I went and did a guest spot at, where I ended up catching whatever the hell I caught, COVID, cold, whatever it was. Like we were booked like solid. And in that shop, there were 10 artists working. So boom, there's 20 people because everybody's booked solid. Then you have the 2 managers, and then you have whatever friends of friends that were coming in. And at one point I was like, this is too many fucking people in one spot for right now, man. So I like the way I got my setup right now. It's literally just me in the studio. Book 1 appointment for when I'm tattooing that day. That way I'm not rushing for anything, you know. Long gone are the days of me trying to cram in as many people as I can. I'm like, screw that. You just don't end up doing the quality work, you know. You always got this like time pressure deadline like at the back of your head, and like you say that you're doing the piece and you're like 85% done, but that last 15% is going to take you an hour and a half, and then you got your other client waiting for you, and then that pushes back. Like, it's not an hour and a half you start, the other guy's like, no, we still got to wrap up, got to take photos, got to let it bleed out, and then got to tear down, got to set up. So that hour and a half buffer literally turns into almost like another 3 or 4 hours tacked onto your day. So yeah, I'm completely done with that scene. It was kind of funny going back and doing the guest spot at my old studio there. It kind of put the flavor back in my mouth of like, oh yeah, this is why I don't want a shop like that anymore. Just for me, it doesn't do what I want it to do. If that makes sense. One day it'll just be Hydro Dip people, and you know what, man? I won't be surprised if the tech comes out over the next 10 years and something like that happens. That is a busy shop, yeah, dude. I have never seen a tattoo parlor with more than 5 chairs plus their friends. Yeah, exactly. Like my buddy, he pieced out. He's living in Florida now because he was like, "Fuck Canada, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, I want to go someplace where I can actually still exist and still live." Because like, even though we're in British Columbia and it's pretty relaxed here as far as the rulings, you know, the authoritarian creep is definitely here. So he pieced out. He's like, screw it, I'm going to Florida because, you know, I can still exist out in Florida and live an actual life. So he pieced out. He left his shop. Luckily, I was able to like catch him before he left. Yeah, man, the shop was bumping because you know, thankfully in British Columbia, we're still able to just work normally. So we had like a bunch of guest artists from Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta, because a lot of the other provinces were just straight up just shut down. There's like, nope, you're not fucking doing anything. So a lot of them hightailed it out to BC, and we're all doing guest spots out here. But yeah, that was way too many people. Ontario went crazy. Yeah, man, they lost their fucking minds. But the difference is Ontario is, that's where everybody lives in Canada. Like, during the elections, if you win Ontario, you've pretty much won the fucking election. If you win like Ontario and Quebec, you fucking won. Like that's it. There's no way around it, you know. Yeah, they went fucking hardcore. And here's the thing. We're fucking how many years into this now? It's not going away. It's not gonna go away. I've read enough fucking comic books to see when fucking actual like villainy is happening. Like I'm not fucking stupid. Yeah, the more times people are like, oh, it's just fill in the blank. Oh, it's just, those who know. Those who see can see. Those who don't will continue to do what they do. Too many. Okay, I gotta cut through that. Get the. Gotta get that S curve on this. Oh, just. It's gonna be. Yeah, there's like I don't. When drawing stuff up, like there's tangents, which obviously mailing goes off on, and then there's also psychic tangents and invisible tangents. Those are tangents where, yes, fundamentally it looks and should be correct, but it doesn't look right, and that's usually when you have a psychic tangent. And a psychic tangent is just like simply, like that. You have 2 points, and they're just connected by existing there. So, like with this piece, I got to come in behind the Dragon Ball here. And just because of the way the body's coiling and coming back up, I got to make sure that when this coils back in, it doesn't touch this line right here, if that makes sense. Because if it does, then it creates a bit of a psychic tangent. So, yeah, it's fucking weird to see actual Cobra Commander level villainy happening. Dude, exactly. Like, it drives me nuts because I'm just like, does nobody see this? Like, nobody see this? Like, does nobody think that this is bizarre on every conceivable level? And then everyone's like, oh, it's unprecedented. It's like, is it? Is it really? Let's look at history. Let's go back and look at history. Oh, it's not unprecedented. It's happened many, many times. Overreach, overgrab of power, all this kind of stuff. Everyone that even remotely knows history sees that it's repeating just in a different way, though. But yeah, it is straight up fucking like Lex Luthor level type of shit going on right now. I was talking with a good buddy of mine, and we were just discussing, the state of affairs that everything is, and he's, he brought up his points. Was like, well, you can't tell me that the rich and the powerful and the elite were not just doing whatever the hell they wanted while everyone else was locked down. Like the amount of stuff that must have been shuffled and moved around globally. Like, think about that. You had a complete global lockdown, and nobody, quote unquote, doing anything. You can't tell me that, many, many chess pieces were moved into position during that time. Yeah, instead of the murder of a monarch, it is an invisible super virus that is everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing too, like the powers that be, they have think tanks. They literally have the smartest people on the goddamn planet in their pocket and disposal to help think of scenarios, events, situations, and to run all kinds of possibilities at their disposal. They can do this. Do we have this access to that? No, we don't. If they want to do something, they can just pour money into like, oh, we're going to hire all these people with like, 200 plus IQs. And yeah, what happens if XYZ happens? What are all the possible parameters that you guys can conceive of? Cool. Now we have that as a data template. Let's see. Let's run it through and see what happens. And they also created, if the virus was a lab leak, that means that there was some hand in creating it. Now, they also know that it is much better to create a small amount of fear than to create a large amount of fear. This is something that they learned over periods of implementing things. If you have a giant target to point your finger at, the people will rally. That's not what they want. They want to cause division, whoever they are. And through that division, it's easier to control people because then you only need to control divisions of the people. It's not in their interest to have people rallied against something very specific. If people were dropping like dead in the streets, like there were images of when this all first started, funny how that all went away. Nobody questions that. All the footage that was coming out, people literally walking with their groceries and dropping dead, and then that hasn't really happened since. Like, what the hell? But if it was something like that, pus blood coming out of everybody's eyeballs, guess what? Everybody in the world would stop doing what they were doing and get on board. But they don't want that. They want it just enough so people are like always on edge. And willing to do stuff, willing to sacrifice, whatever little bit of quote unquote freedom that they have. It's still not looking right. Damn it. You can see that think tank go through the exercise foretelling all these named events in Event 201. They did it anyway. Know the economic problems it would cause. Yeah. Well, this is the other thing. So. Because like I'll think about this stuff just kind of like as back burner thoughts. So everyone's harping about we got to get off fossil fuels, we got to get off this. It's not happening. It'll never happen until we either run out or something drastically happens. Because what's happened is that we've created an entire infrastructure based on this stuff globally, and there's also a military factor that everyone seems to fucking forget. Let's just say, for instance, I don't know, the West, let's say Canada and the United States, out of nowhere just decided to be like, yep, we're done with fossil fuels, we're eliminating all this stuff, and we're going to go full on green and everything's electric. Cool. You have now just put yourself in a great risk from a military standpoint of being taken out by one thing, and that's an EMP. If your entire system is running, and it's already bad enough with as much electricity as you're using, but if everything goes that way, you've now put yourself in a position where the old tech can just steamroll right through you because guess what? They have tons of it, whoever they might be. So even from like a military standpoint, there's no way that this is changing. And I think this is it is all leading eventually to shift gears into new tech. But in order for new infrastructure to be built, you got to wipe out the old. So unfortunately, I do think that war is inevitable to usher in the quote unquote new era, because it only makes sense to wipe out a bunch of people during a hot scale event, and then that way, whatever you do past that is, it's going to be deemed at what must be done. At least that's what my spidey sense is tingling on. It seems inevitable. Like that's. That is the conclusion I came to as well. They want the verification of society so they can only have to make up 2 lines of bullshit to feed people. And say, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. During all this, I started to realize people do not really look beyond the scope and scale of their day to day. Nobody wants to. Everybody would be more than glad to just put their head back in the sand, I'm not fucking innocent of that either. Like there's definitely days like I've literally just stopped listening to the news, because I'm just like yeah fuck this. I know what you guys are talking about nonstop. I'm out. I'm out and about. But the majority of people, they'll just consume whatever's on TV. Because I was thinking about this, and it's like, why are people still not looking into stuff? Why are people, not just scratching beyond the first layer that's been given to them? It's like, oh yeah, they really don't want to. They just want to be told what's going on, and that's it. And the majority of those people, they watch TV, they watch the news. That's where they get the information from. So you still have that giant snakehead that they're still feeding everybody. Once you know, you can't unknow, like EBS and ESG. Yeah. It's it's there. It's what the thing that they're trying to get everybody to hop on board with. Yeah. Well, one of the good things about tattooing is I get to sit with people for hours at a time. So I get to bombard them with questions and with stuff like this. Like, oh, do you know about XYZ? And they're like, no, what's that? And they're like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, this is the thing. This is a legit thing. And like, oh, I'll send you a couple of links. Check it out. Do a little bit of your own research, come to your own conclusions. But there is stuff going on beyond the average person. And it's super funny too, because a lot of my clients, they're not hip to the comic book world or anything that's going on. So I was like, you ever read comic books when you were a kid? And they're like, yeah, but never got into them. I was like, oh yeah, things are popping off in comic books. Things have gotten wild. And I'll tell them what's going on. They're just like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fucking bonkers. And again, the average person, the normie folk, they're not paying attention to what we're fucking doing here. They got no idea. So just being somebody that will help bridge that gap, just to let people know, like, hey, fucking, there's stuff going on. I'm just gonna write knee. Knees. Oh. Maybe. Let's see. I'm just gonna grab some rag paper. Since I'm not working in Photoshop, this will be my ghetto Photoshop. And we just tape that down. The last few years have taught many people who the real enemies are and how everything can be turned on a dime with their say-so. Yeah, it's well, here's the thing. I've always had ever since I was a kid. Don't know why. I have no idea why. I've just distrusted the government. Whatever it was, whatever weird fundamental thing of me growing up, there was always this weird disdain of just being like, yeah, don't trust those fucking guys. And I grew up in the middle of nowhere, with no access to anything. Like we had 2 channels, maybe 3 channels on a cloudy day. So I don't know where that weirdness starts for me. It was in me from when I was a kid. So my distrust for the powers that be have always been there. But for a lot of people, this is the first time that they're actually seeing it happen, and it's mind-blowing to them. It's like, dude, they've been doing this forever. This is what they do. You go through a time in history, the thing that has killed the most people, it's not family. It's government of every kind. You go to war. That's because somebody's ruling over somebody, telling somebody, we need to go grab those resources. It's always at the behest of some power that be. So I'm trying to see if I can right around the knee. Democide, exactly. Yep. parentheses. I believe that cuts in there. The thing is that all the people need to do is just say no and stand by. Yeah, exactly. And everyone won't. that's the other problem. Let's grab a stronger. Yeah, but thankfully, a lot of people are waking up. Like everyone forgets, like the Occupy movement, the Occupy Wall Street. Like, they were shitting themselves during that because that was during Obama, and they were like, whoa, that's you're not supposed to be doing this while we're in power. Everyone forgets about that. In Canada, we had the Idle No More. I think that started with one Native community just being like, you know what, F these guys. We're going to go show up in Parliament. And they kind of laughed at everything. Like you could tell that the Parliament wasn't taking them serious until they started marching. And then every community that they went into, they gathered more and more people. And this is the one thing that people really, really forget about, especially here in Canada, is their goal is they know you're not going to protest unless it's a weekend because everyone has life and a job, and they don't want to screw their own thing up. This is why a lot of people, it's like, yeah, it's a weekend protest, whatever, it'll come and it'll go. But when you have communities of people, and I grew up in one of these communities. These are the Native communities. When they try to threaten you with like, oh, you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose this stuff. They're like, we don't care. Like, what are you going to do? Take the land yet again? Cool. Give us more reason to show up on your doorstep. So when you have that type of mentality, willing to be like, I don't give a fuck, and we're going to grab more people who also don't give a fuck, and we're going to show up on your doorstep, they are legitimately terrified of the Native communities and small towns and communities and businesses. They are terrified of them because they know if those people band together and start moving and start rolling, they won't be able to stop them. Which is why when the Idle No More movement showed up on Parliament, literally on their doorstep, they instituted new laws that you can't show up on Parliament. Because why? Because they fucking shit themselves. They're like, oh, these guys, they did show up, and they are here, and they are angry, and oh no, we actually might have to respond to something. In Canada, here in British Columbia, there was, it's known as the Site C Dam, and it is like way, way up north. And they were angling for this thing for years because it's gonna fuck up the environment. Like it's just, there's no way around it. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. And they've been pushing for it for years. And it was the Ministry of Energy. They put out a statement, and this was like good solid like 6+ years ago. They put out the statement pretty much guidelining anybody that's a part of the project, like, you don't need to worry about anything, we're going to be able to go through with this project, like there's no one really going to be standing in our way. And then there's this little quote, and it said, the only thing that we really need to worry about is the local communities, the small businesses, and all the neighboring Native communities they're the ones, and if they band together, they're going to be able to stop this dead in its tracks. Then immediately after that, but we need not worry about that because of their own internal struggles against each other. So they're fully aware that, you know, the angling of pitting the us versus them mentality goes as far as that, and they keep pushing that. So they're aware that if they decide to, like, you know, finally get their heads out of their ass and be like, oh man, these guys are screwing up our scene. But instead of responding to their grievances, they just change the law to make it so you can't protest. Exactly. So that's going to be, that cuts across like that. That goes on the inside, cuts under the knee, goes across the shin. So I really want to avoid hitting up the back of that knee. If I can avoid it and have the belly scales cut across it, that'd be great. Do-do-do. Yeah, and the way that Canada runs too is like any major law that gets passed in the States, Canada will follow suit. It's usually anywhere from 1 to 3 years behind, but the way Canada does it is insidious. They will initially try to pass it in a one fell swoop law, because they always will try this. And you know, thankfully there are MPs out here that will actually read the stuff and they're like, whoa, what's up with this bullshit? And they'll catch it and they're like, oh, you know, we got to do this. And we're like, no, that's not happening. That's not cool. And so what they'll do is that they'll break it up and they will put it into different sections of new bills that will pass over those 3-year periods. So rather than having that unified law, they fracture it up, and then that way they can cite Bill C, you know, so C36 with Bill C72 and Bill, you know, D14, and they can combine those bills into doing that one original thing that they wanted to do. And they give power and access to the people that you aren't expecting to. They're not giving it to the police, the RCMP, or anything like that. They will hand the power off to different government agents that you don't expect. And inadvertently, one of the most powerful entities in all of Canada, unexpectedly, is health inspectors. Funny how that all works out for this time and age. Funny how that works out. Health inspectors under the new codes in Canada. I'm just going to go off on some shit here. They literally have the right to destroy on site a facility. There is no determining factor in the wording what a facility is, whether that's a home, a commercial residence, a car. It just says facility, and it says can destroy on site. If deemed there is unsafe product, again, completely vague. Same down here with EPA. Yeah. One of the other things that people forget about Canada is if there is a majority government, that means that there was no opposition, which Trudeau tried to fucking get in here, but they shut that down in the last election. If you have majority government, you are technically, legally, under the rule of a benevolent dictatorship. That is the actual legal classification. It is a benevolent dictatorship because they're not being tyrants. And it's like, that shouldn't even be an option. What the hell? Right, I might have to get a black marker out now. Black marker, you've been gone too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me? I wish I didn't use up all my purple markers. Damn it. So I want to avoid that knee. And draw some more red here. But yeah, thanks for everybody for coming in and hanging out in this impromptu draw stream. Seeing me fumble my way around the old tattoo world and getting a little bit of the insight as to how I do what I do.
How I do what I do. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Lord.
Put some this underneath so I can actually see. There we go. I can't see black on black drawn with the black background of the table. figure out this S swoop. I'm going to get this tail marked in because this part I'm digging. This part I'm digging. Do do do, loo do do, do 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 do. Actually, use my yellow to erase this out. Scoot that way. Let's go cut back in. Yeah, this will be one of those things where I have to get the stencil on to really find out what and how it's laying down because it might have a little bit of overlap with this. If that goes over that. Yeah, I'll have to see. I'll have to see. Oh, maybe I can. I don't want to break that up. find that. See. Yeah, there's a spot in here where it's got to like twist and flip back the other way. I don't feel like that pops out too much. So once I put that on the skin too, it's gonna bulk the other way. Maybe if I could just cut this down a lot more. Bam. All right. There's that line. There it is. Keeping nice curves in the piece. It should be the center line of the fin. Cut that back in. Clean that off with my, oh, damn it. Over here. Nope, yep, there it is. Okay. Cleaning. Bam! Yeah, I missed Finatra's stank stream this morning. Usually try and catch it, but I was way too tired. I only had a couple hours sleep in the past couple days just from tattooing so much. I was in bed by like fucking 11 last night. I usually don't hit the sack till like 3, 4 in the morning because I'm up drawing, either drawing stuff for Caius or drawing stuff up for clients. I think that might be the ticket. Okay, I gotta clean that spot out because that's giving me illusions. Put this little bit right here. Right. Bam. Try and not get my big head in the way here. Bam! This is the thing that's giving me some grief. Right there. All right. Ooh, good speed rock. Perfectly warm enough in here now. Alright, so Dragon Ball. That up. And a little bit more. We got that going on there. So that's a crest. That's where the fin will be, so that'll cover that up. All right, cool. Yeah, I think that's what I was missing. I was missing a turn point. I was trying to get too many flowy loopies going on. Yeah. All right. Now with that. should be a ridge line in between the belly and the scale. Belly scale, belly scale, belly scale, belly scale, belly scale, belly scale. And we're gonna have some light emitting off of that. I'll have to take a couple steps back from this in a bit anyway. It's one of those things too where when you're looking at it too long. Yeah, once I have this sketched up, then I'll bring it into Clip Studio, and then I'll be able to do what I need to do. I still got to put his the dragon legs, the front legs, kind of the arms, the back hind legs. So depending on where those sitting, I could potentially cover up a couple parts too. So it's easier for me to do that in the old Clip Studio. Alright, I don't need this anymore. You got a flatbed that big? The T-Rex arms? Yeah, totally. I gotta get good with Clip Studio and see what it can do. Yo, Checkpoint, man. Clip Studio is where it's at, man. They just had a new update, and it is I was like, oh, sweet, we got a liquefy tool, finally. But the big game changer for me that I just saw is they just added in new 3D primitives that you can manipulate. So, like, say that you threw down a primitive of like a cylinder. You can now grab that cylinder, you can stretch it, pull it, and this was the thing that I just found out is that you can throw texture maps on it, like on the fly. And I was like, oh, that opens up possibilities for like lots of background stuff. Because like if I can draw, because like I always think of these things in resources. So if I can draw backgrounds of like stuff for Caius, that's like because there's a lot of like nature scenery stuff like that. So it's like canyons and buttes, rock faces, canyon walls, along with jungle stuff. So if I can just draw a long section of that, I can just throw that as a texture map over one of these 3D objects and then position that, and it'll be in 3D space. And then, yeah, it just saves time down the road. But yeah, Clip Studio is the shit. I used to be a devoted Photoshop guy for years and years and years. And then Clip Studio came out. And I bought it and I had it for quite a while. But just never utilized it until I saw, I can't remember who it was. It was some comic book pro, and they were using it for their latest issue or whatever it was. And I was like, well, fuck, if so-and-so is using it, let me do at least one finished full line drawing in this. And I did one line drawing with and like my old Intuos 3, and I can't explain it, but the way it feels to draw in Clip Studio feels nicer than what it does to draw in Photoshop. Photoshop feels like you're drawing on glass that has oil on it. Like it's very slippery, if that makes any sense. Clip Studio almost makes it feel like you're drawing with a pencil. Like it's super subtle, but to anyone who notices, they're like, oh, this just feels nicer. One of those weird, like, intangible things. But once you feel it, and you're like, oh. And then, yeah, I did that one line drawing. At that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm never drawing line art in Photoshop ever again. And then slowly but surely, more and more of my stuff started creeping over into Clip Studio. So I was like, well, I can color that in here. Let me just do the tones in here and clean it up in Photoshop. And I was like, oh, the flatting in here. You can flat stuff super quick. All right, well, I'll just flat it and color it in Photoshop. And then I was like, well, why am I jumping over to Photoshop? Let me just color it in here. So now if I have Photoshop, it's just for like actual color adjustments, and that's it. But the majority of my stuff is in Clip Studio. I don't even think, I'll only crack open Photoshop for certain text stuff now. If it likes the AMD setup I have, I may use it. Yeah, I got a AMD setup right at the beginning of the whole COVID thing. My computer shit the bed. I ended up getting a BIOS virus, so it completely bricked my BIOS. I couldn't do anything, and so I had to get a new computer. And yeah, I ended up getting, I can't remember what it was, an AMD Ryzen 7. This and that, and yeah, I mean, it's been working fine for all of it. So, right. So I think that's enough for me to. Snap a pic, send that off. Clean up that sphere. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that I have some time off coming up here in January to kind of mess around with a couple of the new features in Clip Studio, because if it can do what I think it can do, man, it would be super cool. So even with the primitives, one of the cool things that you can do now is, like, say that you have your like layer, your boss, a room, something like that, you can just draw a top-down, you know, just like a blueprint of the house or whatever it is. You know, you'd be like, this is the couch, you know, this is the thing here, you know, whatever it is. And you can now block your primitives and just put those primitives there, and you can actually build in Clip Studio a rough out of that room. So that way, anytime that you want, you can just bring up that specific file of that room with those things in it, and then, you know, change your camera angle around. Yeah, it's fucking dope. Let me pop a couple other pieces of paper underneath here so I can get a clean shot of this. Bam! All right, that should be enough. All right. Where's my phone? Just got into Crit. Yeah, dude, Crit's dope too, man. For a free program, it is insanely powerful. Just got into Crit, turned the way I like it, but I do want to check out that 3D feature. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I was screwing around with Krita for a while too. This was like, geez, in 2016, because I was looking to get off of you know, the Photoshop dick for a while there. My options were, I was just like, well, I can do Krita. I was like, well, you did buy Clip Studio. Let's give it a go. And then I really cracked into it, and I was just like, yeah, I don't need Photoshop anymore. But yeah, Krita has been growing leaps and bounds with their stuff too. And for like a free software, like, that's ridiculous. I think I can put like some hands right around there. Yo, how's it going? Just giving you a look here at the sketch that I got going on. So what we got right here, we got, this is obviously where the 7-star Dragon Ball is going to be. This is going to be down near the ankle. This goes to the back of the leg. That's going to scroll around. Front of the leg, that's going to come obviously like that. This is going to go, you see the knee? Yeah, we're going to go around the knee, just like that. And probably in and around this spot. This is where we're going to be putting the front claw. I've got to put his other claw over here. And then wherever it's going to be, the other back claw will be popping up here. But there was the rough sketch, and I'm just going to get this into the Clip Studio Paint and start drawing up the actual finished line lines. All right, man. Peace. And it's off to the client. Yeah, they get tons of donations and grants, so they make a lot of lessons and updated Krita. I'll get with it. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me here. Just like a quick impromptu 2-hour stream of me figuring this shit out. A little bit of insight as to how I work some of my stuff here when it comes to certain tattoos. Sometimes for me, it's easier to do this. Other times, it's easier for me to draw it digitally. This is one of the times it's easier for me to actually just draw it to scale. Yeah, thanks for everybody popping by. You're watching this on the replay. Make sure that you go back, Caius, The Story of Blood and Stone, issue 1 and 2, which is on Indiegogo right now. If you can't back my project, back another person's project. All right, that is it for me. Peace out to everybody.